From every strand on the line of your reel, to the rods, to the anglers, to the lures on the end of your hook, let's talk about those big bass here on Co-Angler's Corner with your hosts, Rob Welch and John Stounger.
Hello, everybody. I'm John.
How y'all are? KJ Rob here hanging out with you. Hope everybody had a good weekend.
Yes, we're just sitting here having fun before the show. That's all. We have our guest tonight's a very special woman. We've had her on, I don't know, 3-4 times. I think we're going to start naming the segment after her pretty soon. And Miss Pam Horne, she fishes the LBAAs, and she made it to the Classic this year. And I think this is a year and a half. I think she's fished as a boater over there, so maybe 2. I don't know, but want to get her take on the LBAA, and how exciting it's going to be to fish the Classic.
Absolutely. And she does a lot with the kids, takes kids fishing and the youth and high school. So she fishes kind of anywhere, everywhere at the same time. So always great to talk to her, and she always has some great takes. So let's bring her on.
All right.
Hello,
everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good.
All right.
Excellent. So for those people who are watching who haven't really seen the show much, do you mind going through a little bit of your history in fishing?
I born and raised in Louisiana. I fished since I can remember. I've got pictures of myself when I was like 4, I think. Getting ready to go fishing. Moved to Arkansas in 2015. And I had a little bitty 17-foot Ranger Cherokee aluminum boat, and come up here, and these lakes up here were like the ocean to me.
Yep.
So I joined the bass club that my brother was the president of. It's the Northwest Arkansas Bassmasters. And that's the first time I've ever really been in a club that actually I had an appointment to go and fish. So it was like a purpose. And I loved that because I'm not real fond of going fishing by myself. And that was a way for me to get out and experience these lakes and learn. And I went the first 2 years as a co-angler just so I could get familiar with the lakes, because I was scared to death to get out on them by myself and try to maneuver around the lakes as a boater. And after 2 years, I decided that was enough. I was ready to go and fish where I wanted to, how I wanted to, and just kind of be the captain of the boat. So
yes,
that was in 2018, I think, when I started as a boater. And since then, I've been in the top 6 every year. Until this year, I've kind of dropped down a little bit because I've been trying to put too much on my plate. I actually left Guntersville, got back home Saturday, and it was probably late afternoon Saturday. Had to get up and go fish a tournament on Table Rock at 4 a.m. The tournament was 4 to 12, and all the way to the lake. I'm like, whose stupid idea was this? I mean, I put too much on my plate this year, and it's kind of hindered me from fishing at my best. But I think this last tournament that we had, it kind of turned around a little bit, so I moved up a couple of spots, ended up with 18.5 pounds on a little small lake in Oklahoma. Probably one of the best, well, it was the best tournament I've ever had. So had probably 15 pounds in the first hour that we started fishing, hour and a half, and got a couple more to finish out my limit, and we ended up with first place, big bass, and we won the side pot. So I was more interested in the points because I felt bad because I done dropped down to like 8th place. So now I've moved up to 6th place. So, but I got started with the Lady Bass Anglers in, I think, 2020. We were actually had a club tournament on Bull Shoals in 2018, I think. And we drove by a little hotel that's over there off the lake. And I saw the Lady Bass Anglers truck sitting there, and that was the first time I'd ever heard of them. But I knew what the emblem was.
Yep.
And the whole tournament, I was looking at boats everywhere. Like, is there 2 women in the boat? Are there women in the boat? And that just kind of sparked a fire that kind of kindled for a couple of years. And we were doing, my brother used to do Facebook Live with my sister-in-law.
Yep.
And it was pretty popular. And we happened to be, I was on the show with H one night, and somebody asked the question about when I was going to fish with the lady bass anglers. And I was like, well, I would like to, but I don't know who to contact or how to go about it. And Cheryl Bowden, who was one of the founders of the Lady Bass Anglers, she reached out to me that night, and she was like, what's your member number and how long have you been in the been a member? And I was like, well, I don't have a membership. And she was like, well, we would love for you to come and fish with us. And that year they were scheduled to fish their last tournament on the Cane River in Louisiana, which is right close to where I moved from. And I was like, well, I'm doing it. I'll just go and fish it and see what happens. Well, they had a tornado that blew through Natchitoches right before they were scheduled to fish there. So their classic was supposed to be on Truman that year in Missouri. So I just got registered and went as a co-angler, and I happened to have, I think it was in October. Well, I know it was right, maybe the end of September. And we had a club tournament on Dardanelle in Russellville, Arkansas. So I drove down there, fished that tournament on Sunday, left there, drove to Tennessee where my nephew was fishing in the Youth Nationals tournament, and left there and went to Truman and fished that tournament, and just, I loved it. It was just, the H and I had talked about it beforehand, and he was like, now you be prepared to make really long casts, because the fish are going to be up shallow, and these ladies got the nice, pretty boats, and they're not going to want to scratch them up, and just be prepared. And I was like, okay. Well, the first day I fished with Noella McLaurin, and she's also from Louisiana. And we took off from the boat dock, and she drove that boat like she stole it. And we played ping pong or paddle ball or whatever you want to call it up in those trees and standing timber and everything all day long. And I'm laughing and giggling at myself like it, H was wrong about this one. And I think I ended up with 2 fish and almost 5 pounds. And then the second day I went out with a lady named Rhonda Ashby. And I mean, it was that day when we fished, it was shorts and t-shirts and nice and comfortable and not like your normal October weather would be. That evening after the weigh-in, the wind picked up. It started raining, and raining bad, storming. The temperature dropped 30 degrees. So the next morning it was thundering and lightning. The wind was still blowing 30 miles an hour, and it was 30 degrees cooler. So it was probably in the 40s, probably lower than that. And with the wind blowing, it was probably in the 30s. And it was miserable. And Rhonda had some trolling motor issues. So we had to come back to the dock. Well, when we got back to the dock, there was like 6 other ladies that had already come in for various reasons. There were some co-anglers that got wet. A couple of co-anglers had some health issues. A couple of the boaters had problems, and it was just a mess. And Mr. Larry Valentine was the tournament director at the time, and he was like, well, Pam, you want to go back out? And I was like, yes. I mean, I paid my money to come and fish, so that's what I want to do. And so I got in the boat with Deanna Lavorne, and she's from, I think, somewhere up close to Gunnersville. I'm not positive. And I had a blast fishing with her. She was just a go-getter, and same thing. I mean, we played pinball all in the trees all day long, and I did not even catch a fish. And my mom had gone with me, and when I got in, I talked to her and I said, don't even worry about coming to the weigh-in. I said, I didn't catch any fish, so don't worry about it. Well, I ended up winning 4th place in the tournament with just those 2 fish on the first day, and almost like that close to making the classic, which was the 3rd day.
Yep.
So I stayed and watched them blast off the next morning, and I was like, if I fish like this again, I will not be sitting on the bank watching them take off. So, I've done everything I could as far as I'm a single person working 2 jobs, and it's kind of expensive with the travel and tournament entry fees and stuff like that. So I've done the best that I could with what I have. I have to pay bills first. I'm a responsible adult sometimes, most of the time, but I know where my limits are. And this past year, I was able to kind of earn my keep and help with some blogs on the Lady Bass Anglers Association Facebook page and the website. And I fished all of them but one, and ended up qualifying for the Classic, which will be on Grand Lake in Oklahoma. It's about 50 minutes from my house.
Oh, cool.
So my plan is to drive back and forth every day. That way I can save on lodging and I can just be at home every night. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to. And Grand is not one that is my forte. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I fished it for 8 years since I moved up here, and with a little bitty 17-foot Ranger boat on Grand Lake, it's never a good time. If the wind blows 10 over there, you can add 10 to it, so it's going to blow 20. If they say the temperature is going to be 80, you can add 10 to it, it's going to be 90. And I've never had a good day on that lake. I think I fished it maybe 2 years. And one tournament I had, I think we got on one little stretch not far from the boat ramp. You could probably see the boat ramp from where we were fishing, and the wind was howling. So the little cove that we took off from, H had already told me just stay in Honey Creek and you don't have to worry about it, because, I mean, you'll get 3-footers on that lake if the wind blows good. And my boat does not take 3-footers too well. So we just stayed in that little pocket, and I found one little place where there was a patch of grass and the wind was howling, blowing right in on it. So I was like, all I can think of is spinnerbait. So I picked up a spinnerbait. First cast, I caught about a 3.5 pounder. Got that one measured, because we fish a paper club, which means we catch the fish, we measure it, and it gives you a corresponding weight with the measurement.
Yep.
And you write it down on your paper and throw it back in. So within 2 minutes, the fish are back in the water. And the little guy I was fishing with, he was like, well, I'll throw a chatterbait. So we just made the little run there, cranked up, come back out on the cove, and started back in. And we sat right there all day long. I think we had close to 17 pounds.
Wow.
The 2 of us. So
Nice.
that was the first time I had a good tournament over there. And we've never fished it a lot with the club. But this past year, we fished it one time, and I think 1:30, had no fish in the boat. Little guy that fished with me, he already had his limit. I think he called like twice. Still ain't had a fish in the boat. So I was like, well, the only thing I know back to do is go back toward the boat ramp. So we cranked up, went back to the boat ramp, and within a 45-minute span, I think I had 13 pounds. So found one little spot, a little windbreak that they were hitting the rock crawlers, a little crankbait on.
Yep.
And got my limit. So that's where I'm at with that lake. It's a love-hate relationship. I know I got to go over there and spend some time, and I don't know why I've never really gone over there and fished more than what I have, but I've made a couple of trips over there already, and I feel a little bit more confident with that lake. And so hopefully I do pretty good with the Classic. So.
Absolutely. And you had a young protege this year. Talk a little about there she is right there. Her ears is burning. She just commented in.
Must be Carla Joe.
Yeah. She says,
Hey, Aunt Pam.
Hey, baby girl. She just came up this past weekend and fished the youth tournament on Beaver Lake that's close to the house here. So
awesome.
I just want to say a couple things about your what you had talked about. Your baby brother and his wife, they actually got my wife and I into doing the podcast a couple years ago. And now we graduated. I think my wife got a little smarter and decided to, well, we'll let John and Rob talk about fishing.
You come a long way, that's for sure.
Yep.
Jeremiah says, hey, Miss Pam.
Hi, Jeremiah. He fishes the Bass Nation Club and has fished the state tournament the last couple of years. So I've met him through the state club. He's a really
Nice.
good young man.
Outstanding.
Now, can you talk about the LBAA a little bit for the ladies who aren't familiar with it?
I will. I mean, Cheryl Bowden and Secret York, they are the ones that kind of started it. It's a kind of a club that took off from the Women's Bass Tour, the WBT. I'm not real familiar with that one because that was way before my time, but it was pretty big. I know that they had quite a few women. And once that ended, Cheryl and Secret were like, we need to keep this going somehow. So they came together and come up with the Lady Bass Anglers Association. And they have done a phenomenal job with it. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of boats, but there are so many that are the anchors of this club. You have probably, I would say 8 to 10 that have been there from the very start, boaters and co-anglers. And they are just like the seniors of the whole group. I mean, they're the rock, the foundation of it, along with Cheryl and Secret. And I think it was last year or year before last, we were at Lake Palestine in Texas, and we were sitting in a Mexican restaurant for our little banquet before the tournament started. And Cheryl made the announcement that they were going to step away from leadership with the Lady Bass Anglers Club. And it was gut wrenching to me. And I'd only been with them for a couple of years, and there was lots of tears and lots of, oh no, what's going to happen now? And it was just a very sentimental tournament after that. And I know a lot of ladies thought, well, this is the end. It's not going to go anywhere from here. But Cheryl and Secret worked with a lot of people, getting some offers and what can we do? How can we keep it going? And Craig LaPointe is actually the one that reached out to him, and he's like, I know a guy. And they worked on the details with Travis Birch, and Travis is always up for a challenge, evidently, because he's got fires and everywhere. He runs a couple of businesses. He's does the World Bass Tour, and he took it on, and him and Craig come together, and our first tournament was at Bull Shoals, where they made the announcement that they would be taking it over. And we'd had a tournament on Bull Shoals the year before. And Craig and his family are awesome people. They were great hosts for the tournament. Craig was actually in a golf cart running down to the lake, bringing us ice to put on our fish while we were waiting for the weigh in. They've got cabins there. They've got a restaurant there. There's a marina there. So it was everything that we needed all rolled into one. And after he made the announcement, everybody was like, now we can breathe, because we knew what his personality was, and we knew his passion was there. So everybody was good with it. And turns out Travis's passion was just as great as Craig's was. And Travis has gone over and above and done stuff with this club. I mean, he's taken some chances, and a lot of people don't like change, but he's made it easy for us to look at it in a positive way. I know next year the schedule's a little bit different than what a lot of people are used to. We're going to South Carolina, and then I think Georgia, Florida, and then we're going to have some back home. We'll be at Caddo in Shreveport, Louisiana, and Bull Shoals. And a lot of people are really hesitant about the travel, and I won't be able to make them. I know that. I mean, I may have to go one of them as a co-angler, but I know if I said I didn't like it, I would be saying it out of selfishness, because that's the way we're going to grow it. I mean, there are ladies in Florida that can't travel up here 19 hours to come fish a tournament. So why not take the tournament to them? And same way with South Carolina. We've got Heather Broom drives from South Carolina down here to fish. So why not take it to her house? And Seminole in Georgia, that's where Pam Martin Wells is from. And she travels all over the country anyway, but why not have one at her home? So, I mean, that's the way you're going to reach more ladies and grow this thing like we really want it to grow. And that I talked to Travis, and I told him, I said, don't look for me to go to Florida. I can't see pulling a boat down there for 19 hours. That'd be $1,500 worth just in gas.
Yeah.
But the more I've thought about it, I would love to fish Florida. I fished the Lake Toho before, and fished it with the ICAST tournament and loved it. And I would like the opportunity to go back down there, but I think if I go as a co-angler, I would have a better chance to actually be able to do it and afford it. So I may do that one. And the lake that we're fishing in South Carolina is Lake Kiowee. It's a hot lake, or what do you call it? Where they bring the water out of the lake and go through a factory and it heats the water up. We have one here. It's called Swepco. Yeah. So that one would be interesting to me, and I would love to see South Carolina. And then Georgia, I'm not so sure about Lake Seminole. I've heard some good and some bad. So, but any of those three, going as a co-angler, I could see myself doing it and having a good time doing it. But that's the biggest change that we've had and the biggest obstacles we've had. This year we kind of traveled a little bit, but not that much. And we did pick up a few women that have not been in the club, but it's mainly I mean, I've tried to make the facade that it's, oh, come on in and we sing Kumbaya and have campfires and drink hot chocolate. And it's not always that way. I mean, these ladies are competitive. And some of these ladies have been in this club since it started. So you're going to have cliques, and I mean, you're going to be the outcast or the person from the outside looking in. And I'm kind of that way myself. I'm an introvert. I'm not really a go-getter and run around greeting people and shaking hands. But I mean, we all have our little groups, but there is not one lady in this club that wouldn't help somebody.
Yeah.
I know this last year at Bull Shows, there was the first person that had problems was Terry Sidrick. She had some issues with her boat, and Ann Carmichael, who was way up in the standings, she actually told her, she's like, well, just come get in the boat with me. I don't have a co-angler tomorrow, and I'll take the front of the boat half the day, and you can have it the other half of the day. And that was her competition, and Terry was doing pretty good too. So it was a sacrifice to her for even making that offer. And then I think the second day, Robbie Hartline had some issues with her boat, and Linda Gessner, who was our angler of the year, I mean, she told her, she's like, well, just take my boat. She knew that she wasn't in the standings and wasn't doing as good as she wanted to. So she was like, you just take my boat and go fish today. So these are the things that some of these ladies do. And these ladies have been in the club for a long time. Yeah. So they're in it for the long run. And that's what they're willing to do to help somebody. So just because somebody doesn't come up and hug your neck every time they see you doesn't mean they don't have the same passion that you do and aren't willing to help you. And that's what I like about it. I mean, you'll see all of us at a meeting or at the tournament. We're all in our little groups because that's the personalities that we attract, and that's the personalities that we get along with. But if somebody needs something, anybody will help you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I enjoyed. I seen you at Guntersville. I come to the Guntersville the last day, and you had the biggest field of the year. And one thing I told John I noticed is all you ladies was under that covered porch. Everybody was there until the last angler weighed in. I thought that was great. I mean, that just proves that, you're cheering and everybody on. I thought that was really impressed. I was really impressed with you guys doing that.
Well, you know how it is at a weigh-in. I mean, everybody's going to clap for you. They may be saying under their breath, I was hoping you sucked today and you didn't catch your fish. But they're like, yay, I'm glad, yay. Yeah. I mean, that's how it is. I mean, you get that encouragement. And Steve French, who's helped out with the bump tank and stuff, you bring your fish up there and dump them in that tub, and he's going to be the first one to get you jacked up. He's going to be good fish. That's a good bag. I mean, so you're already jacked up before you get up on the stage. And I mean, he's a big encourager. I mean, when we take off in the mornings, he's one of the first ones to tell you, go get them. And I mean, all of them are just very encouraging. Craig got to actually come up and make that one. I mean, he runs a business, so we don't expect him to be able to travel all over the place with us, but he's running a resort where his family's at, so he can't do as much traveling as Travis does. I mean, Travis has got a business, but he's got dependable people that he can leave there with it. His family comes with him. His wife and kids were there at Gunnersville, so that helps him out a lot.
Oh, yeah, and they worked their tails off. As hot as it was,
Yes.
those folks worked their tails off, let me tell you.
There's a lot that Travis does behind the scenes that we
Yep.
probably never will know what he does.
Yep.
I mean, he's doing the negotiations with all these people to get the tournaments there, because we can't just, it's not a fact of, we just say, okay, well, we want to go to Gunnersville. Let's just have a tournament at Gunnersville. It doesn't work that way, because a lot of people think that. They're like, well, I got a lake here. Let's just fish a tournament here. But the tournament people there are the Chamber of Commerce or the visitors center or whatever. They have to pay a price for the tournament to come there in order to fund the tournament.
Yes.
Because the tournament doesn't make the money just by itself.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And Travis has done all that negotiation with a lot of people. We kind of spread it out, the schedule this year. So it was kind of like every 2 or 3 weeks we were getting, okay, we're going to have a tournament here. And then a couple more weeks we're going to have a tournament here. And I can tell you right now, I was one of the ones biting my fingernails, because I'm like, we can fish 3 in order to make it and hopefully qualify for the Classic. So I was already trying to think in my head for the year, because I only get a certain amount of time of PTO. So I'm trying to spread that out and figure out which ones I can go to and try to save a little bit of the PTO that I've got. So there was a lot that went into that this year. So
Yeah, absolutely. And then having to get I know some states you can have a permit through the wildlife resources.
Exactly, yes.
So there's that side too. So it's a lot of work to set one up. I absolutely.
And maybe one day Travis will be ready to turn loose of the reins a little bit and let some other people start helping out.
Heather
They will.
Bruce saying you're doing an awesome job promoting the ladies.
Well, you do a lot promoting the ladies, and you don't even say a word. You go out and hammer on everything.
She does.
19 pounds in one day on Gunnersville. Yeah, that'll make your first day feel great.
And now you guys want to go to her lake.
Yep. Ain't that smart?
But no, we have in our future, we have Cheryl Bowden and Terry Sindrick coming up this coming month. So
Cheryl can talk all day, and Terry will make you laugh all day.
That's all right. They'll fit right in.
Yep. Terry's
Yeah,
got a
it'll be
nephew that actually races cars, so he's on the NASCAR circuit. So
Oh, hey.
nice.
yeah.
And your brother, he had a good tournament this past weekend.
He did.
I'm glad you helped him out, get him
Yep.
over that edge.
Yep.
You know, I'm sure he appreciates you.
I don't know why he had to wait all year to do it, but
He finally listened to you, maybe. Maybe that's
yes,
what it was.
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's kind of a pig-headed person. If they have a tournament and there's 5 people sitting out there in a group and they're ripping on them, he's going to keep going, and he's going to find a spot by himself. He's not one of those guys that wants to join the crowd. So
Yep.
a lot of times that's good and a lot of times that's bad, but that's just how he fishes. So,
Yeah. You have to fish what you're comfortable at.
yep.
All right. So you'd mentioned earlier that the Classic is the next tournament coming up
Yes.
for the LBAA.
Yep.
What does that mean to you, being able to qualify for the Classic and knowing it's sort of your home body of water?
I'm not going to say it's a great feeling. I mean, it's good for me because I'm probably my biggest critic. I never think that I've done enough or well enough, especially when you're fishing with these ladies. I mean, the first day at Gunnersville, I was looking forward to it. My practice had been great. I caught some nice quality fish. Actually caught one on a flutter spoon, one of the big Chris Zaldane flutter spoons.
Yeah.
Never thrown one that big before.
Oh,
And Carly happened to be in the boat with me that day, and I caught one that was probably well over 7. So being dumb and not knowing how to do it. I mean, I was just kind of gradually reeling it in. Well, he, of course, comes up to the top of the water and throws it. So I'm like, well, that's okay. That's okay. I'll catch him on tournament day. And they were doing some mowing on Gunnersville. And you can ask Carly all about that, because we swore that she had got too hot and was dehydrated and was hallucinating. But they were actually mowing the grass on Gunnersville. And the second day they had sprayed it. So the fish that I had found in a big flat with lots of grass, they were there on one end of the grass the first day. And you had to have, I had an 1.5 ounce weight and a Z-hog, and it was more of a reaction bite. So I was getting it down into them, and they would just hit it. They never even saw it. They just knew something was coming, so they would hit it. And then the second day, they were gone, completely gone. And I guess that spray just messed them up. I had found some fish. I knew there were fish behind the marina. I mean, that's where, what was his name? I can't think of his name. Caleb or Kufal had won the elites there. So every video that I watched, I mean, I was looking for landmarks and stuff. So I'd fished there a little bit during practice. So I knew there was fish there, but I didn't really concentrate on it a lot the first day. And the second day I had a lady that was from there, Miss Jada, and the stuff that I was looking at on the main lake wasn't working. And I was like, well, I got one other place up behind the marina that I've been going to later in the day. And she's like, well, you might not want to wait till later today since this is not working. So I actually got in there and then ended up filling up my limit in there, just in there.
Nice.
So they were good quality fish. So, but I mean, if it were bull shoals, I would feel much better. I don't do as good as I would like to do. I mean, lots of times I do really well over there, but I guess the pressure and putting that much pressure on me fishing bull shoals kind of makes it worse. But with Grand, I mean, like I say, I've got a love-hate relationship with that lake. And the last few times I've gone over there, it's been good and gives me a little bit of confidence. So maybe I can hold my own with some of these ladies, but they're hammers. They don't play. So, I mean, having it close to home is good as far as the travel. I'll be able to come home every day and stay at home and get up and go the next morning. So that helps, being at home and reflecting over the day instead of being somewhere where I'm not comfortable at. And I mean, I like socializing with the ladies in the evenings and stuff, but this will give me some time to really think about it, because we'll have 3 days for the classic. You fish the first day that you're paired up with. Then the second day, your pairings reverse. And then the third day, you'll actually be paired up according to your standings in the tournament. So we don't know how that's going to work out, but I think I like it because, I mean, I finished better than I wanted to this year. I mean, I was just looking for a top 10, so finishing 8th made me feel better. So hopefully I can do good this year, and I need a good finish. I would like to have a good finish to give me a lot of confidence.
Yeah, and sleeping in your bed every night, I think that's going to be a huge advantage for you.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't sleep good during a tournament anyway, so it's not.
Oh, well. It'll help. It helps some.
It help a little bit, yes.
Yep.
Carly Joe says she was not hallucinating. Just wanted to document I did outfish you in practice.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
She learned from the master, though.
I'm going to say, with that stupid wacky one, I hate it. I hate it.
I am right with you, Pam.
I
But it
do not
catches
want to fish a Ned rig or a wacky worm or another. I cannot stand it. I know it catches fish, but I would rather throw a spinnerbait or a big flipping jig or creature bait, something I know that the majority of the time you're going to get a big fish.
Exactly.
And I tried to throw the wacky worm at Table Rock, and it didn't end up, just make me mad. I missed like 4 fish in a row, and I'm like, why do people fish with? I was ready to throw my rod in the water. That's how bad it got.
Wow.
I could flip into the bushes, and they would hit it, but I started throwing the wacky worm, and they would come out of the bushes to hit it. But you get them hooked, and by the time you reeled about 3 times, they were off of it. So I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
It happens.
I have a question about the tournament. You said on day 3 they you go by order as far as your standings. Is that like Pro 1 with a co-angler 1 or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If
I didn't know if
you're at the top in your standings as far as the boater, then you'll be paired up with the top angler as a co-angler. So
okay.
Cool.
I didn't know if they reversed the co-anglers,
just on the second day. The first day you're paired up with the way you ended the year, and then the second day you'll reverse the order, and then the third day goes by your standings. So.
Oh, cool. That's good. Interesting little twist.
Yes.
It is. Let's see. Do you know if they're going to have this on TV, the classic?
I doubt on TV. No,
Okay.
We'll probably do the Facebook Live like we've been doing the other ones, but they do the live weigh trackers. So that's been a big hit this year, which I begged for a couple of years because I know. I mean, I've got family that live close enough to like this tournament, and I do the same thing with H when he's fishing a tournament, and I'm watching that bass tracker. I want to know how he's doing.
Yeah.
And especially having a tournament that's this local, I mean, people's watching it and they know that I'm catching fish, then they might be more apt to come over and watch the weigh-in. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Brittany King says, Carly Brevet, you and your wacky worm. I agree, Pam. I don't like the wacky worm either. I'm gonna talk to Alvin. He has the American Angler Outdoor Network. And see if we can get, because I know we did it for at least one tournament this year to get you guys to broadcast live on the Co-Angler Corner stream channel.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still shocking to me that there are some ladies that's never heard of the Lady Bass Anglers.
Yep.
Well, if you're not around it,
Well, there are ladies that fish.
Yeah.
They've never heard about it, and I'm bad about it. If I see a lady's video on Facebook or something, she's fishing, and I'll comment. You need to check out the Lady Bass Anglers Facebook page. Give us a shout and check it out. See what you think. No, Heather just fished a tournament there in South Carolina, or not South Carolina. Where was it?
That was on Douglas. Yeah, it's in Douglas, Tennessee. Yeah.
And she fished with a lady that she's got her own Facebook page. And I mean, she fishes a lot, but she had never fished a tournament. And if you haven't seen that video, you need to go watch it. Because have you ever been in a boat that went 200 miles an hour? Because the next time it was like, have you ever been in a boat that went 400 miles an hour? And we made it all the way up to 1,000 miles an hour. So I'm gonna have to get Heather to prove that to me when we get to Grand. I want to see that boat do 1,000 miles an hour. So.
I don't know if I'd want to see a boat going 200 miles an hour. I know what happens when it's going 65 and you hit something. So.
Yeah, it's not good.
But that's okay. I got a motorcycle helmet now.
Yep.
That ought to do it.
Yep. Heather says zoom.
That's right. Zoom. Rain was hilarious in that video. As she did not slow down 1 minute talking, and it was like Heather did this. Heather just took off, and I'm holding on to my cap, and they're holding theirs in their hand, and I'm thinking, why are they doing that? And I'm trying to be cool, holding my visor. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
I need to get in touch with Harris, Heather, to maybe get her on the show.
I
Absolutely.
thought we had Heather on the show before.
Oh, we did.
Yeah. I thought we did. Yeah, I thought at least once.
Yeah, she comes in all quiet and silent and acts like, oh, well, I'm going fishing. And it comes in with 19 pounds.
Yeah, then whacks them. Yep. Throws out a sack. Yep.
The good thing about that with a multi-day tournament is at least they're there.
Yes.
You just got to be able to find them like everybody else.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Grand is that it has a lot of diversity. I mean, you have flats, you have deep water, you have bluff walls, you have grass, you have lay downs. I mean, all of it. So it's going to be interesting. So
yeah. So who do you think is the favorite for the Classic?
I don't know. I would definitely say Heather.
Okay.
In October, I don't know. I mean, Linda and Robbie, they're always strong individuals, and Terry comes in acting like she don't know anything, and she usually drops a good bag. And I mean, don't count Cheryl Bowden out either. I mean, she's
No.
used to the Grand Lake is going to fish a lot like some of the Texas lakes, I think. So
Okay.
I wouldn't count me out either.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say you're one of the favorites now. Give yourself some credit.
I'm gonna be getting over there a whole lot more than I've been getting over there. So, but I just
There you
recently started a part-time job, so I'm working on my days off, and so it's gonna be kind of tricky. But I'm gonna get some more time over there on that lake.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It happens to be my brother's favorite lake. It has never been mine, but
Maybe he can give you some pointers.
yeah, maybe.
I like how she said that.
Well,
I
if
know
he
he
does,
doesn't tell me all his secrets. So.
No, I don't see him telling a lot.
And we got one little guy in our club. He usually does really good on. I mean, I think he's won like most of our tournament. Well, we had 7 tournaments this year, and I think he's won like at least 4 of them.
Dang.
So, I mean, beating him at the little lake last week was an accomplishment for me. But he always does Grand pretty good. He fishes a lot of the BFLs and stuff over there, so he usually does pretty good over there. And our club tournament is next month, so he's offered to help me a little bit after our club tournament next month.
Wow. He put a stipulation in there.
A stipulation, yes.
all you
So
have
in
to
other
do is
words,
go.
I'll help you and show you some good spots or what
After.
you look for after the club tournament. So.
Just go take that little chip out. He won't miss it.
Yeah. Nope. Will not miss it a bit.
Just
Well,
bar
he
it
probably
for a
knows
couple
it like
days.
the back of his hand. I mean, he actually
Yeah.
goes over there quite a bit. So
Yeah. I was about to say that chip probably doesn't mean anything on that lake for him.
nope, probably not. Just like my brother, he probably doesn't need his either.
Yep.
Anything else, Rob?
Yeah, looking back at your season, is there one technique you think that helped you get where you was at, or like one set of techniques you think really helped you this season, or you just kind of had your confidence and everything just kind of clicked for you?
Well, I know I did good at Bull Shoals, and my go-to at Bull Shoals that time of year is always the rock crawler. So
Yep.
It actually helped Cassie out a lot. She was fishing with me on day 2, I think, and they were actually staying in the little cabin right behind us. And she come over that evening, and she was like, "Okay, what I need to know?" And I just handed her the crankbait, and I was like, "Make sure you have that tied on in the morning." And I mean, I think I had my limit really early the first day. I fished with one of the new ladies that joined us this year, Julie Nichols, and she's from Kansas. And she had brought her own rock crawlers because I'd been talking to her off and on, and she did pretty good. I think she had her limit pretty early. And then the morning that Cassie and I went out, and I mean, we weren't running a quarter of a mile from the boat ramp, and it was just stacked with smallies in there. And I think Cassie had her limit by 7:30. I mean, it wasn't long at all.
Wow.
And I didn't have a bite. Throwing the same rock crawler she's throwing, exactly the same. And after she got her limit, she picks up the shaky head, starts throwing it. And I'm just disgusted. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, they were here yesterday, and obviously they're still here this morning. They just don't want my crankbait. And I have a favorite spot on Bull Shoals that I fish. I can go to West Sugarloaf, Diamond City, and it's probably 15-minute run from where we took off from at Anchor Point. And I know that's just my confidence area. And I told Cassie, I said, I know if we go there, I can catch a fish. And sure enough, we got down there and I caught, I think, 3. And they were pretty good sized fish. Left there and come back. And I said, we found one spot during practice that they were just loaded in there. I said, we'll go there, maybe finish out my limit. So we got in there and I think I finished out my limit, culled twice. And I think Cassie had done culled all 3 of hers and was working on her second, third. So that's my confidence bait there at a certain time of the year. And my jig, I always like throwing a jig. I used to not like throwing a jig, but I do things a little different with a jig because I throw a 1 ounce jig instead of any other. I don't have hardly any jig heads that are less than 1 ounce.
Yep.
And a lot of people are like, well, don't you get hung up with that? And I'm like, well, do you get hung up with a 1/4 ounce? And they're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, well, it's no different.
Same. Yeah.
But I mean, H taught me that a long time ago up here on these lakes. It's like, you go to McDonald's, do you want the 1/4 pounder or do you want the Big Mac?
Yep.
Usually when you're throwing a jig, the fish are hungry. They want something big and slow and bulky. And I usually do good with it. And of course, my go-to everywhere we go, no matter what time of year, is a spinner bait.
Oh, yeah.
And I will pick up that spinner bait before I will a top water or a jig or anything else. And so,
that big bass trophy right there is spinner bait. So I'm with you.
Spinner bait will probably come in handy over at Grand. I'm hoping.
Oh, absolutely. Can't beat them. I mean, they catch numbers and size, so you get a bit of best of both worlds.
Ashley Klaus is excited to meet you at Kiwi.
Hi, Ashley. I hope I can make it to Kiwi.
You will. You will. Ow! Just hit my desk. Fisher says, hi, John, Rob, and hi, Pam.
Hi.
How you doing? And
I love
how's
her
it going?
girl. I love them jerseys they're making. I may have to reach out to her. I may not have a lot of
John's got one
next year, but
yeah, they
do a good job. And bait bags.
Oh, I like that. Yep.
Yeah, they're growing, and
we got one of our ladies, Miss Charlotte. She would definitely love that pink one.
Yes. Says, thank you, Pam. We'd love to get you in our gear. And I'll tell you what, the gear fits better. Their gear fits me better than my old sponsor. You know, the sleeves aren't as long.
Yeah.
I'm a small guy anyway.
That's always my problem. I get one to fit everywhere, and my sleeves are usually like 4 to 6 inches too long.
Yeah, too long or too short. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, so I asked my wife this night. I asked my wife tonight. I go, hey, we have Pam Horne on tonight. And she goes, awesome. You know, she's, you know, she knows you and your brother and his wife. And I said, what's her favorite cookie? And she goes, I don't know. I looked in amazement that she didn't know. And she goes, I haven't made her a cookie.
Exactly.
Uh-oh.
So she didn't know what your favorite cookie was.
It's chocolate chip with usually pecans and walnuts.
Can't beat it.
But I've also tried a cookie that I really like, and it is called a, what is it? Almond Joy cookie. So it's like a chocolate chip cookie, but it's got the almonds and coconut in it. And,
I thought she was going to bust out the snickerdoodle.
We had a little restaurant at the airport where I was working, and they would make the big giant cookies.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, I could make a meal out of that Almond Joy cookie.
And Fisher says they make women fit as well, Pam. And that was one of the things I was going to say. And Carly Jo Prevette says, yes, she would. Mrs. Pinky has been trying to comment. No, their women's line is nice too.
Yeah, and I saw Xander's jersey too. I like that.
Yes, she's you know, at first she didn't want one, And then she saw mine. She goes, "Where's mine?"
Yep.
But no, H's last year on the elites, I went and saw him up at St. Lawrence, I think it was Oneida Lake. I think it was, and I gave him about 4 or 5 dozen cookies to share. I'm not sure.
I can guarantee you they didn't make them home. I can tell you that.
That ain't surprising.
He's a growing boy, and he's been growing for 48 years.
So, because I think they're like I could almost cover my whole face with a cookie.
Yep.
Hey.
Look, this boy eats a salad like the bowl that you get from Olive Garden. That's his salad bowl. So they put that on the table at Olive Garden. He's like, "Can you bring them a salad?"
I gotta share this.
Yeah.
That sounds like my 14-year-old. You see my 14-year-old at Gunnersby.
That
and he's
boy's
14.
corn-fed, I can tell you that.
He's 14. And he's playing football. So, he's going to get just bigger.
It's crazy how they grow. The 2 little boys that I boat captained for this past weekend, I had 2 different ones last year. One of them was the same, but the other one, he, the last tournament, he was kind of a little bit in trouble. So he didn't get to fish the last tournament. So Logan had one of his friends, Asher, come and fish with us. And I haven't seen them since the last tournament. And they came and we met Saturday morning for the tournament. And Asher has grown like 6 inches. It is crazy how much they grow in just a short time. And I mean, Joseph did the same thing, my nephew. I mean, he grew so fast that he had stretch marks on his knees. So
unbelievable.
It's like they've reached that certain age, and it's like, okay, we're gone.
Yeah. No, they wait till you buy all your school clothes for the season, and then they grow 4 or 6 inches.
Yep.
All right, Pam, we're at the point now. It's all about you. Let's talk about some of the people who've helped you along the way, some of your sponsors and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, this past year, I mean, I gotta give Travis all the glory. I mean, it was like, if it wouldn't have been for him, I wouldn't have been able to fish as much as I did. And he's always encouraging. I mean, he helped me. He's like, we need blogs on the website, and you're good at writing them, so you write them. And I mean, he gave me an opportunity that I'm doing something that I love. I mean, I love the fishing, yes, but I love telling stories and writing about things, and because I just that's my passion. I mean, I put the passion in it when I write about it, and because I'm feeling it. I mean, just like with the things that happened last year with Travis is telling me about the sportsmanship with Ann Carmichael and Terry and Linda and Robbie, and I was already thinking of a story to tell. Sure. And one of the other stories that came about that it hit me just as quick as she said it. But Secret was talking about one of the girls that fished with us at Bull Shoals, Chloe Barnum. And she was talking about, she was young, and Secret has been doing this for a while. And Chloe was only 18. And she's like, I'm sitting there watching her and seeing all the things that she's doing at her age. And she's like, I know she does good, and I know she can fish. And she fishes with her dad. She fishes with her boyfriend. And she's like, but I'll guarantee you nobody's ever give you the credit that you deserve. And she said she was amazing with her electronics. She picked up a different bait when she saw something acting different, or the fish were acting different. She's like, these are things that just the younger generation are coming up with all on their own, and they're learning it so fast. And she made one comment that just stuck in my head, and she looked at Chloe's dad, and she's like, thank you for taking her fishing, Dad. And that was the name of the blog that I wrote. So
cool.
It's just things like that you get to write about, that you can pull on people's heartstrings and let them see that this sport is all about passion mainly. I mean, yes, talent is great and all that good stuff, but if you don't have that passion, you can't stand out there when the wind's blowing 40 miles an hour. You can't stand out there when it's 30 degrees and your eyes are icing over and on your rods and stuff. And that's what I feel like Travis has with as far as growing this club is that passion that we need. And I know there's times when he's exhausted and doesn't feel like he can go on, but he reaches deep down inside in that passion and comes out with it. And I mean, he's open to ideas from all of us. He listens to all of us' complaints when we have them, and we all do. And he, bless his heart, he tries to please all of us, but when you get 36 women together, you're not going to please all of us. I can tell you that. It just ain't happening. And I got to thank my job. I mean, I work for Walmart. I've worked for Walmart since 2015 when I moved up here. I've always had managers that were willing to work with me. They know how much fishing means to me. Thank goodness. One of my senior directors loves fishing. And his name is Joe Falcon. If you ever get the chance, just Google Joe Falcon, the Dream Mile. And you'll find out some amazing stuff about some people who work for Walmart. So, but they've been able to work with me and help me when I need to get time off. I have Hook, Line, and Sinker. It's a bait shop that I just started working for part-time. I've wanted to work there since we moved up here. I love the place. It's got, I mean, they're competitive in their prices, and some of them are even lower than Bass Pro. They've got a big selection of everything. The store that I'm working in now does fishing and archery. So I'm going to be learning a lot about archery, I think.
Cool.
Nick Gann is the owner of the one in Bella Vista here where I live. And then Aaron Jolliffe is the one that owns the one in Rogers. And these guys give so much to the community. They give to youth tournaments. They donate stuff to big events that are coming. They do so much for the community. It's hard for them to actually sponsor an individual because they do so much for the community and the clubs around here. I mean, you go and ask them for anything. The veterans tournament that we had on Bull Shoals this past April, I went and asked Aaron for some stuff to donate, and I mean, he come up with some, like, I think 4 reels, no cheap reels either. They were nice Shimano reels and Corrado reels and stuff.
Cool.
And that's the kind of heart that they have. I mean, I don't see how they make money as much as they donate and give. And then I've got Mark Shelton, who owns Puddle Jumpers, and he also owns Legacy Tackle Company. I worked for him for several years in the puddle jumper side, the crappie baits, and he has helped me out so much. And anytime I call him and say I need something, he works for Big Cedar Lodge in Missouri, and he lives in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So he drives that every day, then comes home and makes baits in the garage out by his house and stuff. So he's a hard worker. He's not scared of hard work. He used to fish the FLW circuit, so he's got a lot of friends that he can reach out to and stuff anytime he needs anything. He's real good friends with Jason Vance, who fishes the BFL now, or not the BFL, the MFL or MLF. And anytime I've asked him for anything, he gets exotic stuff straight from Japan in the bait shop at Legacy Tackle. So he gets a lot of stuff that's hard to get over here. And he stays on the internet at night till I don't know what time, looking for weird stuff. And he's got, I mean, big glide baits, just off the wall stuff that you'll see in the big MLF tournaments with some of the Japanese guys. He can get that stuff in the store. So, and then of course my family. I mean, I couldn't do it without them. My poor old ducky dog, he gets to go over and spend time with Uncle H and Aunt Rhonda and play with his cousins. And I go and pick him up after he's been over there for a few days, and he snores like a grown man for the first 2 nights when he gets home, because he actually gets to get out and get some exercise. And my mom, who moved back to Louisiana last year, she's still one of my biggest fans when she thinks about it. She's getting a little older and a little bit more forgetful, but she lets me talk fishing and brags on me a little bit every now and then. So
Nice.
And then my baby boy and my grandson, my granddaughter, my daughter-in-law, they still live in Louisiana, but my son has developed the passion for fishing. If you haven't seen it, you can go check it out. I've got some videos up from when we went fishing in July. We went to a big fish lake in Louisiana called Bussy Break.
Yep.
MLF was there, and me and my son and my grandson went and spent the day down there and had an absolute blast. My son is way more passionate about it than I realized. I mean, he would set the hook like a little guy that I know that fishes in Missouri, and it's funny watching him on the front of the boat and Ryder's right next to him, and Michael just makes a move and Ryder's like in tune with what he's doing, so Ryder starts moving back a little bit, and you'll see Michael jack one. I mean, he's just bowed up on it. So it was funny watching them. We caught some really nice fish. I missed one that was probably at least a 10-pounder that will haunt me for a long time. I'm looking forward to getting back down there and hitting that lake again, though. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. All right. Anything else, Rob?
No, like I said, we always enjoy having you on, Miss Pam, and best of luck on the championship. We'll all be rooting for you and be watching for you and seeing you bring in some big heavy weights come Grand Lake time.
I appreciate it. I've not been real fond of the idea of being over there, but the more that I've gone over there, I get a little bit more confidence every time. A lot of people, I mean, some people are cocky. I'm just confident enough that I can maybe hold my own with some of these ladies. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're due. So we'll be watching.
I would like to end the year on a good note. Yes.
That would be awesome.
All right, Pam. Well, thank you very much. Hope to see you again on the Victory Show.
I appreciate y'all having me. I always enjoy it.
All right. Take care, Pam. Good to hear from you.
All right. Y'all too.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Wow. If anyone has passion for anything, that's Pam.
Oh yeah. She loves it as much or more than we do. And that's saying a lot.
Yes, it is. All right. So let's see. What do we got going on here? Where am I?
Oh, I hope you know. I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, I forgot who tomorrow's show is. Oh, it's Tad with I believe it's Tad with
Crush It Jail.
Crush It. Yep.
Yep.
And then after that is Casey Gonzalez, who won the Southern Toyota Series down on I believe Toho.
Yeah, I believe it's right.
So, all right, folks. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in. Hope you can tune in tomorrow. And
then one quick thing. Let's remind folks, we have had the Northern Toyota Angler of the Year, Mr. Mike Mueller. Hey, yeah. Mike, congrats, buddy. I know it's well-deserved. You worked hard for the last 2 or 3 years to get where you're at. So, congrats, buddy.
Yes. I forgot. Thank you. Yep. And Kyle Cordiana, who's going to be coming on one of our shows here pretty soon, is the pro side Angler of the Year in the Northern Toyota Series. So I don't know if it's coincidence or what, but
could be. Could have got him a little luck, maybe. I don't know. But two great guys, though. Two great guys.
They are. And both care about the environment, both care about the fisheries. And so 2 good guys, well deserved for both of them.
Yep, absolutely. All right.
Anything else, boss man?
No, that's it, man. I just remembered that right at the end that we want to congratulate both our good friends and have been on the show or going to be on the show. So look forward to it.
All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Peace out.